Hello friends, it's Donna Chase, Director of Christian Formation at First Presbyterian Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm here for story time number 6 in our series of Let's Talk and Read About Race Together. I'm inviting you as parents and children to join me tonight here on the campus of Bennett College. And behind me is the Pfeiffer Chapel at Bennett College, which is where Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to the community of Greensboro in 1958, 2 years before the Greensboro sit-in, which followed. I also wanted to be here tonight, and I wanted to take an opportunity to read yet another story about the Greensboro sit-in and to note how important it was that the women of Bennett College were a part of not only the sit-in movement, but also were very involved in the planning of the movement. The day before, the famous four from A&T State University, just right down the road here, plans were made here at Bennett, and the speech here in the chapel from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was part of what inspired and motivated many of the students here at Bennett, as well as at A&T, to be a part of this movement of social change, not only here in Greensboro, but around our country. So again, I'm happy to share a story with you tonight, another one from the sit-in movement here at Bennett College. As I mentioned in our story time preview on the campus of Bennett College, tonight's children's book is called Freedom on the Menu, the Greensboro Sit-ins. The reason I'm doing a second book on the sit-ins is in order to highlight the role of women in the sit-in movement. I also heard from some of you that when I mentioned the Freedom on the Menu book as one that I hope you had read, several of you said that you had not, and so I decided to go back and read Freedom on the Menu. It's by Carole Boston Weatherford. Just about every week, Mama and I went shopping downtown. I loved having her all to myself for the afternoon. Whenever it was hot or we got tired, we'd head over to the snack bar in the Five and Dime store. We'd stand as we sipped our Cokes because we weren't allowed to sit at the lunch counter. Once I watched a girl swivel a stool as she spooned a banana split, and in the empty seat beside her was a purse almost exactly like mine. "Can I have a banana split?" I begged Mama. "Not here, Connie," said Mama. "I'll fix you one at home." "It won't be the same," I grumbled. All over town, signs told Mama and me where we could sit, where we could go, where we couldn't go. Signs on water fountains, swimming pools, movie theaters, and even bathrooms. Everybody I knew obeyed the signs, except my great Aunt Gertie from New York. Once when she was visiting us, she drank right from a white-only fountain and said loud, "I've never heard of colored water. Have you, Connie?" And then she lifted me up so I could take a sip. I looked up from the fountain. "Y'all know better than that," a man scolded us. And I started to say sorry, but Aunt Gertie just huffed. "I'm too old for silly rules." It was a hot day, but the man walked away without taking a drink. There weren't any signs up in the Five and Dime, but we still knew how it was. Most people didn't expect change anytime soon, but my daddy thought different. "Dr. King's coming to town," he told us one morning. "Who's sick?" I asked. "Oh, he's not that kind of doctor, Connie. He's a minister who's working to make things better for us," said Daddy. "So we can go anywhere we please," said Mama. Like the lunch counter, I asked. Yeah, said Daddy, and other places too. Later that week, our whole family went to hear Dr. King preach at the college chapel. I didn't really understand all of his speech, but I liked his booming voice. It sounded as if he believed that God was on our side. Every few minutes, Mama said, Amen. And when Dr. King sat down, everyone stood up and clapped for a very long time. Even though it's not mentioned in the book, this college chapel was Bennett College here in Greensboro, North Carolina, Pfeiffer College. Soon after that, my brother and sister joined the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Everyone called it the NAACP. They let me tag along as they went door to door helping people to sign up to vote. I've never voted in my life, said a white-haired lady leaning on a cane. Will I get to vote for the president? Yes, ma'am, I said. My brother wants to be president when he's all grown up. Tell him he's got my vote, she said, and to hold on to those big dreams. Yes, ma'am, I'll tell him, I promised, thinking about my own dreams too. Times are a-changin', she said. The NAACP continues today to work on voter registration. I would encourage you to join the NAACP. Then one day, Mom and I went shopping downtown. We stopped at the snack bar just like always. I tugged at Mama's sleeve. Look over at the lunch counter. We know those boys. There sat 4 of Brother's friends from A&T College. Do they know they're in the wrong place? Some rules have to be broken, Mama said. I heard one of them order coffee and a donut. I'm sorry, we can't serve you, said the blonde-haired waitress. The boys didn't budge. Don't y'all understand English? A kitchen worker said. Go on over to the snack bar and stop making trouble. The manager tapped his foot and jutted out his chin. They can sit there forever, for all I care, he said, and stormed out of the store. An old white lady came up to the boys. I'm so proud of you, she said, as clear as a bell. I wish someone had done this sooner. The waitress kept wiping and re-wiping the counter, refilling the salt shakers. Suddenly the manager came back with a policeman. Let's go, Connie, said Mama. The manager shooed us right out of the store and put up a closed sign in the window. I couldn't wait to tell Brother. Why'd your friends do that, I asked. If we can spend money at a store, said Brother, it's only fair that we should be able to eat at the lunch counter. I guess so, I said. Think it'll work? Sometimes it's important just to try, said Daddy. The next day, Daddy showed me the paper and the headline said, Negro students stand up by sitting down. They sat for 4 hours, said Daddy. I'd be too hungry to wait that long. Connie, they didn't really want food, said Daddy. They wanted to be allowed to get it, the same as the white people, to be treated fairly. By Friday, we heard on the news how hundreds more had joined the sit-ins. The protests are growing, I told Daddy. I'm joining the sit-ins, Brother said, and I'm going to picket downtown, said Sister. I want to go too, I said. I'm plenty big enough to hold up a sign, and I know I can sit. It's good you want to help, said Daddy, but Connie, you're still too young for these things. I never get to do anything important, she said. Well, you can help me make signs, said Sister. That's really important. The next morning, I handed Sister my little flag for her to carry. We'll tell you everything when we get home. Turns out I saw it all on TV. Hundreds of people walking up and down the sidewalks in front of stores, restaurants, and movie theaters. I saw my sister carrying a sign, and there was the back of Brother's head at the lunch counter. My very own brother. I'm so proud of them, said Daddy. Me too, I said. I just pray there's no trouble, Mama thought. After a while, I watched the news on TV almost as much as Mama and Daddy did. And one night, I saw a report on the sit-ins. That doesn't look like downtown, I said. Connie, the sit-ins have spread all over the South. Just then the phone rang and I answered it. Daddy, it's Sister. She got arrested at the lunch counter and she's in jail. Sister, who always got all A's in school, who hardly ever got in trouble, but was what Mama called mule stubborn. Daddy raced to the police station, but Sister could not let him get her out of jail. He told me how the students kept chanting, jail, not bail, jail, not bail. We just can't leave your sister here. She's made up her mind, Connie, said Mama. She wants to stay with the other students. And in a few days, Sister came home. Promise me you'll stop picketing, I begged. I can't do that, she said. These women were among those at Bennett College and also at A&T who not only continued to sit at the lunch counter days after that first sit-in, but who were also arrested. Hundreds of them were actually held in what we know as the old polio hospital here in Greensboro. Now, instead of shopping downtown, we had to order from the Sears catalog. Mom and I leafed through the big catalog together, and she even let me pick out some things. How long before the sit-ins are over, Mama? Till folks get what they want. That summer, Mama, Daddy, and I finally went downtown, and when we passed Woolworth's, I heard somebody say, "They're serving everyone." Daddy stopped so fast the brakes screeched and Mama and I jolted forward. We parked and ran into the lunch counter. There sat the woman who worked in the restaurant kitchen. They were all dressed up fancy and eating egg salad. I can't even stand the smell of egg salad, but I stood and watched them eat every bite. It looks pretty good, I said, and Daddy and I shared big grins. The next day, Brother, Sister, and I made a special trip downtown. Brother wore a suit and tie, and we girls wore our hats and white gloves. At the lunch counter, I climbed up on a stool next to them. We'll have 3 hot dogs, fries, coffees, a Coke, and a banana split. Brother, Sister, and I sat together on the stools and waited for our meals. Our food soon arrived, and as I ate, the waitress plopped an extra cherry on a mound of whipped cream. She looked nervous, but she still smiled at me. It was the best banana split I had ever had. The author's note, once again, gives a history of the Greensboro sit-ins. I would invite you once again to purchase the book if you can and read about it. There is a piece in the history about Bennett College. Within days, students from Bennett, a black all-girls school, began sitting at the lunch counter too. There were also students from other local schools. The Women's College, Greensboro College, Guilford College also participated, as well as many students from Dudley High School. Joseph McNeil, one of the 4, states, "We were just kids. After living that lifestyle of second-class everything, we said enough is enough." Franklin McCain said, "We didn't like not having dignity and respect. I went out of that store feeling powerful." The famous Greensboro 4 have said oftentimes that there were many, many people who helped to make the sit-ins possible. They were the 4 that just happened to be brave enough to sit down that day so that others could continue to stand. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the Bells of Liberty book that was mentioned tonight as our parent resource, and continue to think about the part that Greensboro as a city played in the sit-in movements. Also, I would encourage you to enjoy the Children's Choir African American Spiritual Song that's following the story. This particular song is one of the ones that was noted in the Bells of Liberty book, which is a collection of interviews from many of the Bennett women who marched downtown to be part of the sit-ins. And one of these songs is one of the ones that she mentioned that they often sang when they were imprisoned in the old polio hospital. It was one of a series of songs that the Bennett women mentioned that sustained them through this time when they were arrested. Not only did they sing them, but they were separated from the men, and they would sing the songs back and forth across the wall to each other, knowing that their faith in God would help to sustain them during this time.
We will not be shaken. We will not be moved. We are holding on to you, Jesus, forever. You lifted me, you set my feet on higher ground. No matter what may come my way, I'm holding on to what you say. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. 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 You hold my world in your hands. I'm resting in your perfect plan. In every season you are there. You are the hope that never fades. We will not be shaken. We will not be moved. We are holding on to you, Jesus, forever.
I'm standing here now by the bell at Bennett College, which is part of where the Bennett Bells got their name. Our parent resource for tonight is Dr. Linda Brown's book, The Bells of Liberty, Gender, Bennett College, and the Civil Rights Movement in Greensboro, North Carolina.